welcome, Catherine. Catherine,
Yes.
it's good to see you at home in Dublin, and what a wonderful time we've had. I really appreciate all the work you've done, and also Limerick. But
Thank
speaking
you.
on about what we were talking about in England, in Devizes, your spiritual healing, your hypnosis, and also we'd mentioned about the aspect of sort of so-called alien implants in the etheric energetic body.
Yes.
I've done work on the scanning people with meters and things, and Miriam's been able to detect certain things. But you've got a whole additional dimension to this. Could you describe what all that means and what really you're talking about?
Yeah, this is something I would like to talk about today. It's so one thing I discovered are the implants in an energetic field. So it could be placed in any part into the auric field of a person. There could be like energetic implants. There could be imprints like holographic imprints. And this is one level, beside the physical level where really people have been implanted, in their brain, and they have really devices in their physical body. And also something else what I discovered, or the way I see things. So basically what I'm talking about is about my own experiences. And then later I experience things, I'm becoming aware of things, and then I read about it, or maybe I find something about in the internet. And what I discover more and more, it has to do with our thoughts, the way we are thinking. And usually what we do, we wake up, and then the mind just starts to go. And we have all thoughts, like I have to do this one. But even thoughts, they're just coming in. And I discovered like there's these thoughts, most of these thoughts, they are not our thoughts. It sounds strange because it feels like I'm thinking this. So I started to observe where these thoughts are coming from. And by observing the thoughts, I realized, and I do this now for quite a while, that these thoughts are coming not from me. They're not coming from inside. They're coming from outside. They appear. And the more I observed it, I realized there are kind of other beings, entities. They are there, and they project these thoughts, into our brain. And I think there's also much more going on, but I can only speak about this little spectrum, what I see, what I'm aware of. And the way I observe it is a human person goes along, and very often, and I see this with many people who come for sessions for me, they have like thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I cannot do this, in my age I should be already more progressed, or I should be more spiritual, I should be a better mom, whatever. So there are all these thoughts, and if you look at these thoughts, most of these thoughts, they are negative. They are not the good thoughts that you're a great person, you did this well. That's not usually the thoughts we're having. It's always thoughts, they're making us small, they hold us small. They make us believe we are, not such a good person, and I have to strive to become better. And by observing these thoughts and question, where do they come from? What is actually the source of these thoughts? I just realized that these thoughts, they give us an idea who we are. They give us an idea like, I'm such a such person, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I failed, or I'm stupid, all these things. And we are starting to believe this. So we're creating a picture about ourselves. We are creating, so to speak, an identification. And then it could be in any situation in our life, maybe things they didn't go the way we wanted to, and then we think, oh yes, here again, see, I couldn't do this so great, and all these thoughts are coming. And by observing it, I just realized they are non-physical beings. They don't have a physical appearance. And the way I see them, it's kind of, they're like creatures. It's maybe the best I could describe. They like to manipulate the human thoughts. they're bringing thoughts in there, they're bringing feeling in there, and they're bringing also projections in there. They create a whole story, and we are thinking, we go into the story and thinking that's me. Yeah, and I did some research on it, and then I found, like in 1945, it was in Egypt, and they found in a place called, in Egypt, Hamadi, they find these very old scriptures. There are about 13 books, and there are 52 chapters, so to speak. And they are all, and they dated back about 2,000 years ago. And in these scriptures or books, it's dated back to the Gnostics. This is like a pre-Christian, pre-Christian group. And they write about it and make really, there's one chapter where they want to warn about these creatures. We cannot see them really here, but they exist. And they say they are the real ruler of this world because they are really, really good in manipulating the mind to give you thoughts, to give you ideas of who you are. And it's written in these really old books that they have been around in a really, really early age where the solar system has been created. So it is really, really old. And they are here with this planet for a long time. And the way they manipulate or the way they interact with like a human being in a physical form is like to access their mind, to access their thoughts, and to give them ideas, in the way of who this person is. So it means it's kind of like we are thinking, I'm, for example, I should be maybe more spiritual. Let's take this one. Many people, it's a lot about talking about awakening and raising our consciousness, which is all beautiful. But very often people go into the trap and say, oh, I have to do more. I have to do more workshops. I have to read more books, and it gives us the idea that we are not there yet, that we have to progress, to develop. And in the form level, like in this appearance as this body, this is quite true. Yeah, sure, we can always do some things like to learn something new. But in a deeper sense, if we look more of who we are, our true essence, this is absolutely not true, because the essence of what we truly are, our true self, is always the same. It doesn't have to be created. There's nothing to be added. There's nothing to be developed, because it is already. And in my understanding, what I see by working with people and all these problems and the suffering and really feeling bad about themselves, going into depression, all these things, it has to do with the understanding who I am. And many, many people, they have a picture about themselves which is absolutely, has nothing to do of who we are, absolutely nothing. And the connection, the way I see it, so one way is that we totally forgot who we are, and we know this from, many books writing about it nowadays, many people talking about this. And these creatures, they kind of, when I see them, and it starts, I give you an example, it starts in the morning when we wake up. And the way I experience when I see these energies, it's kind of like you wake up, you're not totally there, and then already your mind starts to race. You get already the thoughts, many thoughts, not only what you have to do next, but many, many thoughts are coming into your mind. And it's like an energy, and I see it like it's like a little hat, kind of in this way. It comes from the outside, and it's kind of like axing a brain, it goes in there. And when we are not conscious, so when we are still living in the idea, I'm such and such person, in whatever way it is, Yeah, we believing this, and these thoughts, they're entering that brain. And it could be, for example, that maybe we had like an argument with another person, and the thoughts are coming in there. Yes, he was treating you not nice. He's not a good person. He's kind of just screwing you. All these thoughts are coming. And we think, yes, this is true. So we're getting emotional. We get into the idea, yes, it's me here, and there's the other. It's me here. That's my enemy. And we just bite in there totally, and we totally forget ourselves. I see, if this happens, we are kind of in trance. We are not here. It's like really hypnotized. It's not so easy to explain it, because when we are in there, it's like being in a movie. Some people describe it that it's like a holographic experience here. And from my understanding, it's like when these thoughts are coming the whole day, and most people are the whole day in thoughts. And these thoughts, when we believe these thoughts, and we don't question them, we just believe them, we are in a constantly state of trance, constantly not here, not in this moment. And then the very interesting thing is, these thoughts and what we believe in, they don't have anything to do with what's going on here. It's like we create a story about ourselves, and this creates like a lot of problems, a lot of uncomfortable and feelings, suffering, blaming, hate. It's always the idea, me and the others. And this has to do with the thoughts process. And it took me a while, because there are many teachers, also very old, people that lived in India, but like teachers like Eckhart Tolle or Ramana Maharishi, if someone knows it. They're people, they say they realize their true being, and they always talk about the thoughts, that, trying to not have so much thoughts, so like stopping the thought process. And I just, in my understanding, this thought process is not about the thoughts, because I think we cannot really control these thoughts, they're just coming. But by observing the thoughts and question the thoughts, we will find out that most of these thoughts, that's not true, they're telling us lies. It's not true, absolutely not true. And they don't have anything to do of what we are, nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just amazing. And then once we stop to believing all these thoughts, it gets really quiet. There's really peace coming. It could be thoughts like jealousy. Everyone knows this, in relationship, when we are insecure and thinking, oh my God, maybe there's another woman, she's better than me, or another man, all these jealousy thoughts. If this is just an example, in jealousy, there is an idea that we are not good enough, and the thoughts are just coming. And if we are not observing it, if we are not aware in this moment, we are just going into it. It's like really, I see it like there's an energy coming from these creatures, as non-physical beings, and it's like an energy beam, and it hooks on your brain. It comes from different direction. It hooks on you. We are wired in there. It's like woof. Then you are in there in trance. You cannot see anything else, and then you totally believe it's true. There are other people there. They are better. And then you just go in this reactive pattern, totally not aware, this is not true. This is a lie. It's not true, but it cannot be seen in this moment. Yeah. So this is kind of what I would like to share. And
are these, there's another thing called chords. Some healers would refer to a chord. It's like a thought chord is connected to an event and a situation that you had with another individual. And that chord transfers energy to that person in that situation. And one way of relieving that is what's called cord cutting.
Yes.
Is that something similar?
This is a little bit different.
Or is it a different way of describing it?
This is different. I know what you mean. That's kind of like there are many healers or practitioners work with cutting cords, especially if, let's see, there was a relationship or I would like to separate from a person, but I feel I'm still attached to this person. And I do cutting cords, and this is kind of like energy lines coming out. It's actually quite physical. Sometimes people experience this physical, and this energy cord comes. Very often I see it in people coming out from the solar plexus. Yeah, and this is an exchange of energies. It just happens. And the reason behind this, the way I see it, very often if we are in a relationship, for example, it's kind of we want to hold the other person with us. We don't, at least at the beginning when we are in love, it's kind of like, oh, great, beautiful, I'm so in love.
This is a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just that it can lead to
it can lead. I think it's part, as you said, it's not good or bad. But very often we do this subconsciously, because subconsciously we have the idea of being an individual person. There is, and I find it's like it's a human subconscious imprinting to be a separate being. And out of this, and this is kind of the root cause of so many problems we experience in our life. The idea of being a separate person comes from the idea that we are that body here. So if you see me here, it's a female body, and we are born and we grow up and give the information, you get the name, Katherina, it's a name, and you are that body. And in that body, it looks totally different to your body. You have a male body, you look different, so it must be me. So, and this gives the illusion that I'm a separate entity, which has nothing to do with you. And this is kind of the idea of separation. It's causing us such a deep suffering. Because there's always the feeling of being alone. There's the fear of not being connecting to other, fear of being outcast. And it goes for centuries on this planet here. And out of this fear, very often subconsciously, we connect with these energy lines to other people. This is one reason we do it. I saw it myself when I was sitting with a good friend there. It's a few years back in Germany. She's very close to me, and she had a lot of problems. And I felt, oh my God, I wanted to help her. And then out of the blue, I just had the impulse to look down to my tummy. And I did. And I saw a little energy coming out. It's like a little finger coming out from my solar plexus into her energy field and just going, like hugging her. It like went in there. And because subconsciously I wanted to help her, and this has just happened. I consciously I didn't do this. So we had a connection then there. It's kind of, the reason for this was subconsciously to help, and because I saw her as maybe in this moment as not being able to do it herself. The moment when I changed my perception and seeing the other person as not separated from me, and seeing the person, it has exactly the same wisdom, the same knowledge, it actually has the same, we all come from the same source, then I don't need to do this. I only did this one in the idea we are separate people and I need to help her. And the outside level, it does make sense. But on an internal level, if someone comes to me and even they have a lot of problem, in the back of my head, I always remember that there is no difference between me and that person. That is, if we take that body away, there is like the same substance there. And this is also what, in the interview you had with Marie Helen before, she also talked about, she talks about oneness, that's only one. And if we take that body away, who am I then? My attributes as a woman, as a female, belongs to that body. So if this body is not there anymore, so what am I then? Male, female? It's the same with the thoughts and the way I see it. Because of all these thoughts and other entities involved with this process of thinking, what we call the mind, has nothing whatsoever to do of who we are and is misleading us. We are there is a situation happening, and then the mind comes in and interprets the situation, and we gonna create an idea of who we are. It's always like there's like something happening, like a subject, and we are a subject, and I relate to the subject. I become an I'm like this. I have been, hurt. I was lied to, I was hurt. All these things. It's always me and the others. And of course, there are these emotions. But also, this is the way if I work with people, and I know it sounds really not nice, but these situations, they happen in our life, they're actually neutral. They don't have any, it's what happened. But very often, it's difficult, especially if it was hurting, it's very, very difficult to accept. Yeah, so this is maybe a good example. Maybe we wanted to help someone and we couldn't. I experienced this, myself. My mother was dying when I was 12 years old, and on cancer. My dad worked on cancer research, and it was a strategy for the family. And for many, many years, I always had the thought I could help her, and I didn't do enough.
This is the child thinking.
This is the child thinking.
It's
I
not
could rescue her.
I'm okay, you're not okay situation.
Yes, exactly.
They feel that the fault of the parent is their fault.
Yes, and they have we think this is a single experience of me, like as a child, I could have done more, and maybe I could have rescued my mother if I would have the knowledge from now, if I could back, and I had it for years, these thoughts. But these thoughts, they bring us such an illusion, and I always thought I failed. I was running around in my life for years, I thought I'm a failure, couldn't do it right, never enough, always have to do more. And even I started my practice, it's kind of, I realized this later, every client came in, I wanted to rescue my mom, want to do it good, I have to heal them. Until I realized that the idea that I failed was actually due to the fact that I couldn't accept that she died. I couldn't accept it. I was kind of, she leaves me alone, I'm alone now, remember? Total identified with the body, I'm here, my mom is there, and I felt alone, left alone here, and the pain, and I couldn't accept it. And once I accept it, once we accept the situation as it feels we are powerless. And we don't like it. But the thing, who is not liking it is the egoic mind. The egoic mind wants us to believe you are in charge, you can do it, you can control it, you could do something. And once we pull back and just accept, in this situation there was nothing I could do, and at the beginning it doesn't feel good. But once you accept it, there's a peace coming. There's a peace coming. And you just see the situation the way it was. I was a child. There was nothing whatsoever I could do. And the idea of I could have done it, and I did it, I do past life regression, and I can see my own past lives as well. I can access them. And I did it so many times. Always the same idea. I could rescue people. And I played it out in so many forms. And as a man,
Well, just let's hold it there.
Yes.
And we'll have a quick break.
Yes.
And we'll join it right back at that point. Okay.
Okay.
Back after a second. But this is so empowering that a scenario that you think is out of your control wasn't your fault to start with. So
yes.
the blame is not your problem. It's the I'm okay, you're not okay.
Yes.
I'm okay, you're okay, and the I'm not okay, you're okay. It's in three basic standpoints from a child's point of view.
Yes.
But from a children's point of view, they think the parents are obviously, everything comes from the parents. And so when something goes wrong, it must be their fault.
Yes.
But this is correctable.
Yes.
And this is what you
This is always, and I see this over and over again with the people who are coming to me as a child when we are little. And very often, not everyone has an ideal situation to grow up or very loving environment. Actually, it's not this often, to be honest. Even, parents, they really want to do the best, but there's always something going on. And I think it's the way it's meant to be here. That's the way it's designed here. And a child usually, if it feels the parents cannot open up to them, we all, when we are born, we try to reach the parents. We love them. We come on this world, we love them unconditional. It might change later when we are adults, but as a little child, we really love them. And if they are not able, for what reason, whatever is there, to kind of give this love back, we automatically think there's something wrong with us. This is the thing, we think it's us. We cannot, as a child, our thinking, it's like not developed yet in the way that we can see, oh, there's something wrong with mom, or mom has a trauma, or that, it has an alcohol problem, and that's why it cannot deal with me. No, it's just we think, okay, that's because of me. So that's why parents very often, that's not to blame them, but very often if they are unconscious, they program their children of kind of like, oh, don't annoy me, go away. And then as a little child already, we're starting to create these pictures about ourselves, who we are. That the child is neutral, the child is beautiful, it's lovely. It just starts to think, and this is very important, it starts to think there's something wrong with me. If you would imagine a little girl sitting here, 4 years old, has been maybe abused by the father, and starts to think there's something not all right with me, because otherwise, that's that I love him, why he's hurting me. And then it believes it. It believes there's something not okay. If you see this little girl here, you wouldn't think there's something wrong with the child. You think, okay, what's going on with dad there? Something has to happen with dad to protect the child. That's what we would think as an adult.
Yes,
but the child...
we're edging really on that, the P word, so to speak, on it.
Yeah.
And this is a huge problem.
There's a huge problem, and the child thinks it's the child, it's me, because it cannot understand, and it cannot comprehend that there's something else. So it always projects it on a child. And then the child in its early age creates the idea, I'm not a good person. And you will not believe how many people deep inside think they are not good. There are so many people I come across, the most beautiful people, lovely women and men, they're just so beautiful. And they're coming here thinking, I think there's something bad inside me. And then you see this child here, it starts to believe these thoughts. And it creates an idea, because you never would see the child, it's bad, you wouldn't see it. But the child believes in this and holds on to the idea. And then these other entities, in these scriptures, what I talked about, they're called the archons. And they implement, they take the idea, they think, oh great, she thinks now she's not good. I don't say it's exactly like this, but it's the way I observe it.
But are you saying that there's a situation where by damaging the child with that psyche, it makes them ready for another predator of some kind?
Yes, absolutely. Now the seed is planted. The child already thinks it's something else. It thinks, I'm a not good person. Otherwise, Dad wouldn't have done it to me. And now, she has already the idea. And now she's kind of open to get all sorts of thoughts and projections. And I give you an example. It could be sitting there, and, maybe the child has later a boyfriend. I know many people can relate to this, or it's married, and there's another woman, and she thinks, oh my God, this woman's better than me, and she gets jealous, and she gets the idea, if she believes it, she's better, and this is based on the idea, if you look deeper, that she's not good enough, and these thoughts coming in, yes, think this, she's better, you're getting these thoughts, this woman is better than me, and she gets the thought, she's not aware, but these thoughts are not her thoughts. The thoughts, it's not coming from that person. And this is kind of like I'm aware of, I can see that the thoughts we are thinking are to 99% not our thoughts. Just imagine we would be thoughtless, there would be a silence, and we wouldn't have all these ideas about who we are. Like these fantasies, they're really like fantasies that we are that person who's not good or was hurt or whatever, that this is kind of like, this doesn't have actually to do with the actual event. Yes, we go through experiences where we maybe couldn't do something. Like if I come back to my own example, of course, I was 12 years old. How could I help my mom? Not possible. And just by accepting the fact how it is that there are situations where we cannot do something, and just leave it there, I couldn't help, full stop. But what we are doing, we create a story. It's I couldn't help, and that's why I'm powerless. That's why I was failing. And it's where these kind of entities coming in, yes, you did fail. So now you have to do something to overcome that feeling of failing. And this is what we do. This is kind of like we create all sorts of strategy to control it, that we never ever have the situation again. Yeah. So we might get in a very controlling person. I might get jealous. I tell my friend to not go out anymore because, you know, or tell me exactly when you're back. There's all sorts of strategy to avoid, you know, to avoid certain situations, because no one wants to be a failure. No one wants to, you know, be left alone. But the idea is that in this very early age, for most people on this planet, I would say, the real root cause of all these thoughts and ideas which we have is the idea that we really don't know who we are. And the truth of who we are is already inside us. See, and church, all this religion, they told us, you know, something outside, it's God outside, everything is outside. It's always me and someone else. Yeah. So if there's someone else, the whole focus goes outside. But if we focus back in our inside, and you can do it with, there are many methods, and, you know, like meditation or qigong, you know, to just focus back in our side. The way I see it, and I also have many people, they ask me to, you know, I think I said it at the last video, I'm not sure now, but I just want to say it again. They're coming, oh, can you please connect with my higher self? So there's two of us here. It's me, that body, and my higher self. It's somewhere, I don't know where, you know. And this already is an illusion in my eyes, because we go into fantasy that it's me and something else. It's the me and I get in a relationship. So my higher self is definitely better than I am at the moment. It's for sure. You know, it's a perfect me. And in my understanding, people don't realize the idea of a perfect me behind the labeling of higher self is an illusion, because it brings us away from who we are. Because the true essence of us, it's already there. It doesn't have to be created. There's nothing to be added. It's like, to give an example, it's like a fire. Just imagine there would be a fire, like a candle fire in here inside me. If you see the fire, it's perfect the way it is. You cannot see or say, I want to perfect that fire, or I want to cut out something, or I want to add something. The fire just is. And this is our true nature. The true essence of us is already. And if we can see it in us, we will see that this is just the body, and you appear in this way, and life, it's kind of expressing itself in that form this time. But our essence, we are the same. And actually at the end, I'm just talking to me all the time. And if we have this awareness that I'm talking to me there, and everyone who sees this, it's kind of, I'm talking all the time to me. It's everyone is me. Even the appearance is so different. The thoughts are different, the stories are different, but the sense, the essence of who we are is always the same. Then you don't have jealousy anymore. Because what is it about to be jealous? About yourself? It doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense if we can see, or if we see that everything is just an expression of anything. You know, of the true essence.
Is this like a non-locality of spirit, where the spirit, the collective spirit, is all one, but we are expressed individually as in this 3D world as these bodies.
Yes, I think you can see it in this way. And for me, it's like there's only one essence, only one substance, and it expresses itself in different forms, like in this form as mice, this form as Katherina. And I know that's my personal opinion. I don't claim it's the truth. But I think everything happens as it happens anyway in the outside world, in the world of form. I don't think that it's just an accident, like see that my mom passed or that we both are sitting here. I think it's just, life is just forming its own way. And I was fighting with life so long. I wanted to control life. I wanted to improve myself. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be someone else. And once I started to accept, that instead fighting with life, trying to control, to just accept of what is, what happens, and this is good. The egoic mind doesn't like it. The egoic mind, and it has also to do with the entities I'm seeing because they are involved in thought manipulations. They want us to believe, in a way, that you are never there. You're never good enough. Regardless what you're doing, also on your spiritual journey, you always do more, do more, do more. You're not quite there, not quite there. Yeah, like the carrot in front of the donkey. And if we become aware and just realizing, just rejecting these thoughts that they are simply not true, and we focus back on the true essence. And yes, it seems like a process, but it's already there. We don't have to become someone else. And
how do people find that? How do they achieve that? Are you able to help them do that?
It's kind of, now coming back to the way that I'm thinking that everyone is it already. And even at the beginning it's hard, but holding on to the thought, I am that already. It's totally different than thinking I am not there and I have to get there. I have to become my higher self, I have to do more retreats or all these things, By holding on to the thoughts, I am that already and I am that in this moment. Because the way we are trained and programmed is that how life is in that moment, it's not okay. I have to do something, I have to become better, and hopefully in 5 years it's going even more better, but this is all not true. This is all ideas of the thoughts. And in my opinion, life will just take its own way anyway. And coming back and holding on to the idea that we are that already, just holding on to this. And this is what we truly are. So if we ask, if the person asks how I get there, yeah.
Your hands off the mic, but
sorry, yes.
Yes, that's who we are. Now,
yes.
we're a bit short on time.
Yes, I know.
So could you summarize in this section, because it's so amazing to talk to you, what you can provide and do, and about these other external forces or elements and can you see them? Are you able to see them?
Yeah, I see it. And it's actually, the impact is quite strong, to be honest. It's actually almost every thought a human being is thinking, it's not their thoughts. And it creates one illusion after the next illusion, after the next illusion. It's just if you see it like really neutral, it's just amazing, actually. It's, if I don't judge it like, oh, it's negative, it's just, oh my God, what a creation of manipulation of thoughts. Yeah. So I can just share the way I do it myself. I started to observe my thoughts and I question my thoughts. Where does these thoughts come from? And I follow these thoughts back. And this is a method also used by Ramana Maharishi from India. Yeah. At the beginning, I didn't understand and didn't know what it is. But as I practiced this a while, I really became aware that these thoughts are not our thoughts. I heard it when I was in India in 2006. I was with monks there, and they told me, your thoughts are not your thoughts. By the time I didn't know what they mean, I'm thinking it, excuse me, that's me. I didn't know someone else's thought. But over the years, and by just observing, it's kind of first of all asking, where does these thoughts coming from, especially negative thoughts? You know, they put us down. Yeah. What is the origin of these thoughts? And you don't have to answer this, you just leave it there, and you can trace them back. And after a while, because the true essence of us, it's always there. This is really a key point. It's always there. We don't have to go anywhere, regardless in which body we are, regardless in which incarnation. You know, this true essence is always there all the time. And what we truly are, it will absorb, you know, the wrong ideas. We don't really have to do something. It's more making maybe the intent at the beginning, you know, like, who am I really? And we're still doing all our things. And I also release my traumas, or I release, you know, my hurts, all these things. But I'm coming more and more back to a place, I would say, inside me, where there is not so much me. And the more I realize that all these thoughts I had for many years and what I thought about myself, who I am, it's simply not true. It's just amazing. And you think, oh my God, I thought it's me. Oh my God, I thought this is me. And this is all, it's absolutely not. So things happen in that life as it happened, but the true essence of us, the real self, it's always there. And maybe this is what I would like to share. Even we go to you know, experiences which are really difficult, abduction, all these things. Also, you know, I will attend conference in London next week with Sandra Fecht about ritual sexual children abuse, which is really, it's tough, yeah. But holding on to the thoughts, no matter what we went through, this essence, it's always there, all the time. It's also what Marie Helen said, we are never alone. It cannot be alone, because the true sense of ourselves is us. It is already. It was always there. It will be always there. This world will go on, regardless if we are here or not, but the true essence of us, it never dies, because it just is. That's the way I like to share this.
Really, thank you so much, Katherine.
Thank you.
It's more wonderful material. Hopefully it will help others out there who are experiencing all these things. You've connected an awful lot of things together.
Yes, I did.
And thank you so much once again from Dublin.
Thank you.
And not Devices.
And what I would like to share, last time I said it depends. You know, I got many responses from people from different countries of the world. And I said I don't do Skype sessions. I did a few Skype sessions. No, I wouldn't say it's like the main type of connecting, but people can, you know, if they feel, you know, they can email me, and we can also do Skype sessions.
Yeah, I think Skype. Yeah. I think you do need to have a good eye-face contact to get the expressions across. So if you can light yourself a little bit better, not you, but it always helps.
Yeah.
And I think it's certainly talking to Mary Rodwell in Australia. I mean, she's able to get out there.
Yeah.
So we'll put that up at the end. Well, this is the end, and we've got one more interview to do.
Yes.
And thank you so much again. You're part of the Irish crew. You've got some really good people here.
Thank you,
helping things along
Thanks
in the
much
Irish UFO Research
so.
Centre.
Thank you.
I slipped that in just to sort of mention it. We did it a long time ago in the 70s.
Right.
Thank you for now.
Thank you.